Good morning. Welcome to Ramblings with Joe. Didn't want to talk about politics this morning, so I'm doing this kind of against my will, let's say, against better judgment. However, I cannot ignore what's going on in the world and how I feel about it. My weekend podcast, I had someone call me out and say that I was definitely anti-Trump and anti-American. Didn't use those words, got quite ugly with me though. It was obvious what he thought. I'm not any of those things. I am pro-liberty and pro-freedom. I'm also a constitutionalist. And in my opinion, the War Act, I think it was in 72, was Congress saying, we're not responsible enough to do the job. So they gave the power to the president. That's where we're at right now. That's the short-term history of America right now. As we come into the 250th anniversary of America, that's where we stand. Congress can't do the job set forth to them by the Constitution. Basically, what the Wars Act does is lets the president attack a country if the immediacy of military response is necessitated. Means that it can be interpreted. It's my opinion that the original writers of the Constitution, the Founding Fathers, put this. So it's Article 1, Section 8, that gives Congress the power to declare war and to make war. And as the Commander-in-Chief, the President then has the duty to carry out that declaration. The War Powers Act is an abdication of Congress to do their duty and take on that responsibility. It is an admission that Congress no longer can get along enough to protect the country as a whole. We're in a war. There's no doubt about that. We are in an undeclared war. Yet again, it's interesting times, bad times, but we are definitely in an undeclared war. There are many nuances. You can argue that it is a war that we're doing on the behest of Israel. You can argue that the people of Iran deserve liberty and freedom. You can say that this is all kind of predetermined by the military-industrial complex. You can make all those arguments, but where we're at is at war. And sadly, we're still at each other's throats. This is where we're at. We're at war, and we have to finish it. We don't have a choice now. We've entered into the Middle East conflict, the tumultuous Middle East, again. And we don't have a choice at this point. We have to finish it. If we backed out right now, the vacuum would definitely be filled by more of the same. So we're in it. My last podcast was not, should we pull out? No, we shouldn't pull out until we're done. We shouldn't pull out until, unfortunately, there is a new regime in Iran. The Iranians are attacking any country that has anything to do with America that they can reach. And I'm hoping that it doesn't escalate. It did escalate last night with Hezbollah now attacking the allies in America. My point for my last podcast was not, should we pull out? My point was, should the president have the power to bring us into this kind of conflict at this size, at this level of military action? My opinion is no, he should not have that right. Has nothing to do with the president, the current president, has nothing to do with Trump. I wouldn't want Biden. I certainly, let's say that Gavin Newsom gets elected, I certainly wouldn't want him to be able to do that. This is way beyond the scope of what the Constitution allows the president to do, or act or not. So that's where I stand. I don't think this is a very difficult topic, and I don't understand how we can't come together and say, as a country, yeah, we need to stop the ability of the president to carry out this kind of order. That's not what was intended. What was intended by the founders and what is spelled out in the Constitution is we have a Congress who has the ability to make war, not a president. When war is declared, when war is brought to another nation from our nation, at that point the commander-in-chief is responsible for carrying out the orders of the Congress. The Wars Act abdicated their responsibility, the congressional responsibility, to do their job. And it was an admission that they can't do it because they can't get along. And we keep voting for the same scoundrels and putting them in office over and over again. It's the Democrats and the Republicans. And until everybody wakes up and sees that, until everybody wakes up and sees that you're being played, that you're being put against each other, divisiveness is the rule of thumb with these two parties because that keeps them in power. Why did Donald Trump make it into office the first time? Because he wanted to drain the swamp. That's what he gave lip service to, not what he did. We keep buying it. There are other choices, people. All you have to do is scare them a couple times and they will fly straight. They will straighten up. Or everything will come to a head and they will show their true colors. One or the other. But the idea that you're going to think that anybody who's against your party, whether it's Democrat or Republican, is anti-American. I served liberty, freedom. Every time you give up a little bit of it, every time you say, that's okay, you lose a little bit of America. But as the Middle East escalates, as the Middle East continues to grow in scope, the war there, keep in mind, we voted Republicans and Democrats back into office. It's not one party or the other. It's both who are responsible for what's happening now. Both. And we voted them in there. I hope that you all have a wonderful day. I hope that we can find peace. Mostly, I hope that we can find peace. I hope you have a great week. And I hope you find peace, love, and dream. Until next time, peace.